Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video. In today's video, we have a submission from a fellow PvPer of the community with one of the hardest mons to get your hands on in some open Master League battles. The submission is from Famo, and the Pokemon is Galarian Zapdos. One of those beautiful Galar legendary birds that you can only get from your daily incense if you're lucky and have access to the Master Ball to get that guaranteed catch. Galarian Zapdos is a fighting flying type Pokemon with access to moves of Counter, Ancient Power, and Brave Bird, and Famo absolutely pops off in these Master League battles with it to climb over 100 ELO to essentially re-hit Legend Rank. These are some Legend Rank battles, and I'm super stoked to watch them through and shoutcast them with you. So if you're excited for content like this, by all means, it's coming inconsistently, but it's coming on this channel. Hey, yo, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's start shoutcasting these beautiful battles. We got the Galarian Zapdos going for the Brave Bird against the Zacian. They're trying to quick attack, farm down. How much damage is that about to do? Bang! It almost one-shots. Zacian holds on with a little sliver of health. The opponent pivots into their Dialga against the Giratina Origin. He then goes into his Xerneas to hit it with the Moonblast. Doesn't want to throw the close combat. Does not want to debuff himself. It's going to require 2 Charge Moves to take out this Dialga. Will the Dialga get to 2 Iron Heads to take out his Xerneas? The first one coming through. That first Iron Head puts the Xerneas into the red. The Xerneas gets the move in time. Close combat coming through. Will take out the Dialga's remaining health. But then we still have to worry about that Zacian. They decide the top left because that Zacian is basically dead, and he has the Giratina Origin fully healthy in the back. Getting into the next match, we've got Giratina Origin on a Groudon lead. We're going to want to land some Shadow Balls here, and we want to avoid ending up getting baited and Precipice in the face. Precipice Blades, that's the name of the move. It lands there, unfortunately decides not to shield, wondering what the play call is going to be here. Going for the Shadow Ball, almost swiped out of his app. Both mons are in the yellow here, expecting the next move coming soon. The opponent probably wanted to throw on CMP. He's going for the Ominous Wind. It gets the shield. I don't think he would have taken out the remaining health, but he 10% boosts. He gets that 1 stage boost to the attack and the defense, because that's what Ominous Wind now does instead of the 2 stage boost like it used to. Galarian Zapdos coming in for the counter down. Can eat a move quite well because it's either Fire Punch or a double resisted Precipice. The opponent comes in with their Mewtwo, going for the Brave Bird, has the shield advantage, right? Will they shield? They do decide to shield, up 2 shields to nothing, clears a debuff by swapping out, brings in the Xerneas to eat a Side Strike from the Mewtwo. Will the opponent pivot? They're deciding to stay in with their Mewtwo against the Xerneas. Will Famo use a shield? Yes, he will. He wants to get off this Moonblast. It will not one-shot the Mewtwo's remaining health. Might want to watch out for the potential swap. Did overfarm a little bit there for an extra Geomancy. Lands a Moonblast. Bang. Mewtwo holds on. Another charge move coming through. Gonna be the Side Strike. Looks like he's aiming for a Geomancy farm down since they decided to stay in with their Mewtwo. He expects them to be weak in the back to it, and they are. Their last mon is Dialga. He's going for the double close combat. This will take out the Dialga's full health in 2 shots. Bang! Mewtwo coming in, fighting counter psychic confirmed with the Galarian Zapdos going for that counter down. Into the next match, we have a really bad lead here with Giratina Origin up against Dialga. Easy pivot into the Xerneas, gets matched by the Groudon. Will Famo be able to flip alignment or find his win con out of this poor scenario? Throws the first Moonblast, lands on the Groudon, puts it in the yellow, expecting the Precipice to come through, shields it. Huge call. What is the play now? That's what we need to find out. Both trainers farming up a bunch of energy. Famo basically going for 2 close combats because that will do enough damage to take out the remaining health. Eats the second Precipice, and the Xerneas just barely holds on, going for back-to-back close combats. Gets the shield, is at the second one. Will he get both shields, or will he flip switch? Bang, gets the second shield. What does he decide to come in with here? Goes in with the Galarian Zapdos because this is a fantastic matchup for it. Only has to worry about Fire Punches like we saw earlier. Barely does any damage to the G-Zap. Gets the fantastic counter farm down. The opponent comes in with a Kyogre because I guess they're worried because Galarian Zapdos might have access to a fighting charge move that he's not using, but bang, another Brave Bird lands. We're gonna need a Brave Bird counter at this goddamn point. How many is that? just to start these sets. That's at least the second one. Getting the Shadow Ball off onto the Dialga. Not an amazing matchup for Giratina, but in a good situation because of the shield advantage. Will he shield? No, he decides to let it go through because Galarian Zapdos can punch the Dialga down, get that energy and throw it at the Kyogre. G-Zap holding on with that slight bit of bulk there, and instead of going for the Ancient Power, wants to land another Bravey B on the Kyogre. Bang! Anything would have taken out that health, but it's so much cooler to see that Brave Bird lands. Getting into the next match, we've got Giratina Origin on a Ho-Ho lead. Very good lead. They swap into Dialga, gets matched by the Galarian Zapdos. There aren't a lot of fighters in the Master League meta, and a lot of fighters struggle even though Dialga is a Steel type. Will Galarian Zapdos be any better in this circumstance? Well, those counters are farming up. One shield punches all the way down. Now that's some domination. Fully expecting the Ho to come back in, throws on the closest to proper move timing that he can since he's so farmed up on energy. Bang, Ancient Power lands for that double super effective damage, getting off another Ancient Power here. Will this get the opponent's first shield? It does. Will the G-Zap survive the Incinerates to get off a third Ancient Power? Timing there didn't matter, just wanted to get that Ancient Power off. Gets both of the opponent's shields and keeps alignment in an amazing spot for this endgame. Hold's gonna throw a Brave Bird, do a chunk of the Giratina's health. Their last mon is a Zekrom, and this match is over. Opponent does not see the writing on the wall. Shout out to Home Slice Henry because they are coping and seething, and they just ate a Moonblast, one-shotting their Zekrom. Ho comes back in, and why are we still playing this match, trainer? The Xerneas is about to counter a Ho, and I don't know what is currently happening on my screen because this should have been a top left. They're praying on that lag con. They're praying for Famo's phone to break because that match has been over. Into the next match, we have a great lead here with Giratina on the Solgaleo. I think that's how you pronounce that Pokemon's name. They save swap into Dialga, and what we learned in the previous match is that Zapdos can just, one shield punch all the way down? Is he gonna be able to pull that off again? He is. That's actually insane. What a freaking feast that G-Zap is having. They then come back in with their Solgaleo, going for the resisted Brave Bird here because both charge moves would be resisted. Solgaleo with that thickness, able to eat the Brave Bird pretty well, can definitely eat the second one. The Zapdos is going to get countered down, but still has a really good matchup with this alignment scenario. Unfortunately, is at a shield disadvantage, but nothing the Solgaleo is going to throw is going to threaten the Giratina. Their last mon is a Palkia, and this is essentially GG's also. Xerneas can go straight Moonblast. The Palkia is going to want to throw Aqua Tails unless our opponent here is on some Psycho energy, which honestly I'd give major props and respect to. Throw a Fire Blast. That wasn't even close to energy for a Fire Blast, but make it magically appear because that would be some content. Regardless, another Aqua Tail coming through. Xerneas is eating them. They're barely doing chip damage. The freaking Dragon Breaths after are doing literally nothing to the Xerneas either. Famo's getting off another Moonblast, gets the opponent's last shield, gets the double debuffs on top of it, just adding that insult to injury, letting the opponent know this match was over like 5 minutes ago. What is with these trainers? I have no idea. I guess a lot of ego up in these 2800s, 2900s as they're trying to make their way to that legend rank. Getting to the next match, we got Giratina up against the Groudon. This is, again, a really weird scenario. The Precipice lands. Giratina is going for the Shadow Ball. Will this also land because Famo decided to no shield? Yes, that is what happened. The Groudon's farming up. Famo decides to build to the Shadow Ball this time, whereas last time he threw the Ominous Wind. The opponent CMPs him. He's going to end up losing lead, but we know how good G-Zap can be, and it can literally walk into Groudon and say, no, I'm not worried about any of your damage. These fire punches are nothing. Opponent then comes in with the Shadow Metagross, and G-Zap doesn't really like this matchup too much because all the charge moves are going to be resisted. Throws in Ancient Power, opponent decides not to respect it, and Famo is going to shield up the first Meaty Mash because his last Pokemon in the back is Xerneas, so he's not facing the best circumstances here. Really needs Galarian Zapdos to pop off. The opponent does not want to shield to save their life, and now we're sitting in an endgame scenario where Xerneas is down shields against the Dialga. Will Xerneas be able to pull it through, or will Zapdos with that little inkling of health come through? Essentially, first charge move going to come through. Don't want to close combat in the beginning of this because you don't want to debuff yourself so that Iron Head takes you out. Xerneas and Famo have built up to double close combats. This may get a shield, or no, it gets the shield, doesn't say, or the opponent might let it go through, but they had the Iron Head and they won CMP. That's huge. I was maybe expecting them to let it come through and then save the shield for the Metagross, but the Metagross is pretty low and will probably get punched down by the Galarian Zapdos, and that's exactly what happened. What a play. Some really top tier recognitions there, knowing not to throw close combat early. Don't want to debuff yourself because of the Iron Head and all that. Hope we're taking notes, because Famo's putting on a clinic with the proper plays here, and then Galarian Zapdos on top of it. You don't get to see too much of these kinds of battles, and it just shows you that putting in the effort and trying to acquire a Pokemon like this, do your daily incenses, find your lucky trades, pray somebody will have a Galarian Zapdos also and is doing their daily incenses, and make this trade. This Pokemon is worth it. You can get Zapdos XLs whenever regular Zapdos, Kanto Zapdos is in raids, because it's literally the same XL candy that they both use. So highly recommend, highly worth it. And we're only about like halfway through these battles, so let's continue to go on. I just needed that little mini tangent. Regardless, Famo's not in a great spot here. Rayquaza is going to core break Giratina Origin and the Galarian Zapdos. Gets the first Shadow Ball off, puts the Rayquaza into the yellow. The one good thing for Famo right now is that this Rayquaza is pretty glassy, but it is throwing breaking swipes and it is debuffing the Zapdos' attack. Getting off the first Ancient Power here. Should get a shield, did not get a shield. I guess the Rayquaza was worried about getting punched down, so they came in with Shadow T-Tar to take double super effective counters to the face and have to use their shields anyway. Wait, what just happened? I didn't commentate the entire match, so I'm lost and I'm at a loss for words. But regardless, Famo is going to Shadow Claw down the Xerneas. They tried to make a catch when he was at Shadow Ball Energy, but Famo knows better than that, making the top tier plays, getting the Shadow Ball off, taking out the Shadow T-Tar's remaining health. What a goddamn match that I thought he was going to lose for sure. Getting to the next one, has a good lead. Opponent safe swapping Dialga. Safe swap Dialga is no longer a thing. If more people can get their hands on Galarian Zapdos, we will see way less Dialga safe swaps, because this thing shields once and then puts in work, punching down the Dialga all the way. Zapdos is in the red, but is at literally 100 energy. The opponent knows that the Galarian Zapdos has Ancient Power, so they don't want to have to shield, but he still gets off back-to-back Brave Birds. Will the opponent decide to shield the second one? They do. They recognize, and now we're still sitting in a good game scenario. He's got the Giratina line up with the Ho still in the back, and then Xerneas, a fairy type, going up against the Ghost Giratina. The opponent tried to catch, but Famo knows, Famo recognizes. He keeps that alignment, makes sure he doesn't waste his energy. He's gonna need that Xerneas to take out the Giratina to end this game. And now the Ho is going for the Sacred Fire bait, because they do not want to debuff themselves with Brave Bird. Really weird sequence of words there when you say you're baiting with the higher energy move, but it makes perfect sense. They were hoping for his shield, and Famo makes the proper play. Fantastic call. Opponent here does see the writing on the wall. Bars, taking Henry's lines and making rhymes. More bars. Either way, they top left, and we're into the next one. How many Dialga safe swaps are we going to see? Holy sheesh, dude. Zapdos out here freaking feasting, punching the Dialgas all the way down. I forgot what the lead was because I was just that distracted, and that's how fast they friggin' swapped in the Dialga to get punched to death by a Galarian Zapdos. They got a fairy looking Zacian. I think that was quick attack. First Brave Bird coming through. Bang! At this point, doesn't even need to throw another Brave Bird, but decides to, because actually Ancient Power probably wouldn't take out. So smart play there. Bye-bye, Zacian. That thing's gone. Is this match over? Unfortunately, was going to get mud shot down by the Groudon, which is a crazy concept, but he was double debuffed, even though those mud shots were double resisted. Swaps and pivots into his Giratina. Ends up eating a Precipice to the face, throwing the Ominous Wind bait, fully expecting the opponent to shield. Really good play there. Will Xerneas be able to do the rest of the job here, and what will the opponent do here? They throw the Precipice. They don't expect Famo to shield. They didn't go for Fire Punch like they could have, because that health was pretty low, and he may have wanted to shield that with all the energy he has, but Xerneas is sitting here farming up, throwing the first Moonblast, getting the final shield. Will the opponent bait? Will they go full nuke? Famo's using his final shield here. They end up baiting with the Fire Punch, but I think Xerneas has enough health to still survive the Precipice. It's gonna be close. Bang! A little smidge of red there, and Famo goes for the close combat on the Xerneas to take out, bang, almost the Groudon's remaining health. Quick little snipe pivot with the Zapdos counter, and that is GG's in that match. Getting into the next one, we've got Giratina up against a quick attack Zacian. Zacian with Play Rough is still pretty good against this Giratina, but it does take a little bit longer to get to the Play Roughs with quick attack. and also Snarl would usually be super effective as a fast move, whereas the quick attacks are going to be double resisted since they're normal moves. Either way, Famo going for his first Shadow Ball here, lands it on the Zacian, going for the back-to-back Ominous Wind. This will take out or get the shield. He ends up winning the zero shield scenario, expecting the Dialga somehow because he was just already clicking, ready to go to pivot into G-Zap because they just gave up on lead so quick. He didn't want to let that Dialga farm down his Giratina for a potential bad news endgame scenario, and they end up matching his G-Zap with a Landorus. Landorus incarnate specifically with the moveset of Mud Shot, Rock Slide, and Earth Power. Rock Slide's going to deal some neutral damage because of Zapdos' fighting, flying, typing, counteracting, resisting, and also taking super effective, and lands another Brave Bird. I'm too busy rambling and explaining stuff, and just absolutely one-shots the Landorus, and that's going to wrap up this match. Xerneas is lined up with the Dialga, is going to eat the Iron Head, no problem, get to 2 close combats, get the shield, take out the remaining health, and that is going to be another fantastic match. But so many Brave Birds, so many punch downs from Galarian Zapdos on the Dialga. These have been some actually insane matches to shoutcast and witness. Famo, thank you again for the submission. I can't appreciate it enough. We've got a lead here of Giratina Origin going up against the Xerneas, getting the first shield from the opponent, throwing that Shadow Ball. The Xerneas is going to want to land some Moonblasts here. Famo's letting the first one come through. This is going to put his Giratina at very low health. Ends up getting the second Shadow Ball off, though, not expecting the opponent to shield this since they already gave up a shield. The Xerneas is in the red, and now we've got the Xerneas Mirror. Famo's probably going to want to shield one of these Moonblasts, go for a Geomancy farm down, and see what that could mean for the opponent's back line. Will they get off another charge move? Unfortunately, they will. He realizes he does not want to give up both of his shields here. That Moonblast puts his Xerneas into the yellow, and what is the opponent's back line? They've got a Palkia throwing the Moonblast right off the rip. Would one-shot if it lands. Bang! Does not one-shot, actually. I lied, but it basically did because that Palkia is at that much health. They must have been expecting a bait, and now Xerneas can essentially sweep, but why sweep with Xerneas when Galarian Zapdos can force the top left? What an amazing matchup there. Fighting, flying up against that rock ground type, only throwing ground moves against a flying typing, and the fighting moves being super effective. Beautiful stuff. Galarian Zap putting the rest of the meta to shame. Getting into the next match, we've got Giratina lined up with Mewtwo, decides to go for the Ominous Wind baits, and the opponent decides not to shield. So not a great situation because Famo's giving up a shield. They swap into Reshiram. He's got his Zapdos lined up, eats a Fusion Flare to the face, gonna get off the Ancient Power. Will this get a shield? How much damage will this do? It does get the shield, and he boosts. I bet he wishes he would have shielded that Fusion Flare to start now, but regardless, we've got Xerneas lined up with the Reshi. Can Xerneas put in work? That Mewtwo's healthy. The opponent still has another Pokemon in the back. Another Fusion Flare is landing. Famo does not want to debuff himself, so he is going for the Moonblast. This should take out the remainder of the health, even though it's neutral damage. Fully expecting the Mewtwo to come back in, so he's trying to quick pivot into his Giratina. Wants that Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent is getting to a move. He's deciding to call it. Ends up just being a side strike. Solid call. And now he's got his Giratina with some energy lined up against the opponent's Melmetal. Lands the first Shadow Ball. The opponent's going for a charge move. This will take out the Giratina's remaining health, right? Rock Slide takes out. Ooh, just barely doesn't, but another Thunder Shock does. Not super ideal. Famo's gonna want a double close combat. Will he be able to outpace to 2 of these before the Melmetal gets to 2 Rock Slides? And it looks like it because he's there. First shield's gone. Opponent CMPs. He's shielding. Gonna get off the next close combat. Xerneas already CMP'd it or CMP'd it there. A lot of CMPing, a lot of P on screen. What am I saying? I have no idea. Bang, and then we get the Geomancy farm down, and the Mewtwo is over. Next match, Giratina up against and it's another Dialga save swap. Master League, you got to be one of the most repetitive, obnoxious metas I've ever seen. Because can we find the new save swap or any other Pokemon safe? Because not even Dialga is safe anymore with the amount of times Galarian Zapdos has punched this thing down. You would think we were watching the same match over and over and over again, especially with these leads. That's the craziest part. Comes back in for the Incinerate farm down. G-Zap's going to get off a bunch of Ancient Powers here. I think we've seen him play this exact scenario before, and he gets all 3 of them basically. Ends up getting a shield there. And it's just gonna fall short from the third one there. Did he get a third one off last time? I don't know anymore. It doesn't matter. Has great alignment. Ho gets off a Brave Bird, and he's going to match the opponent's last mon of Lugia with his Xerneas. Is this matchup that bad for Lugia? It must be, because the opponent decided to top left, and we're on to the next one. We've got a huge collection of matches. I cannot stress how worth getting a Galarian Zapdos is for some open Master League battles and get the highest IV you possibly can. Out of all the G-Birds, you definitely want a lucky trade for this one. Galarian Moltres, Galarian Articuno might find some better play in the lower leagues, but hey, if you want to test those out and send me some battles on those, I'm not going to say no. G-Zap definitely has the highest potential and the highest ceiling for success, especially because it hits over like, what, 4,000 CP, so that's crazy in itself too. Either way, right now, Famo's Xerneas is throwing the Moonblast at the Togekiss, gets both of the opponent's shields because Togekiss does kind of core break his entire team. Doesn't really have a great answer for it, and has to use Xerneas here to throw a Moonblast. I'm surprised the opponent didn't try to pivot, but they're probably saying to themselves, Togekiss against Xerneas isn't a bad matchup either. Either way, the Togekiss is finally gone. Famo's down to 2 Mons, really 1.5. And a shield. Their last Pokemon is a Giratina Altered, so things are not looking super great here. Gonna throw the Moonblast. Giratina Altered can eat it because it's a chunky boy. Getting off its first charge move should be Shadow Sneak. Does not take out the Xerneas' remaining health, and their last mon is Garchomp with Dragon Tail. So it's not looking great here for Famo. He does call the Sandstorm. Really impressive recognition. It's looking like he basically wants to get to 2 Brave Birds. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe he saw the win con before I could even recognize it, because the Garchomp is gone even after getting Sandstormed. He gets to another Brave Bird, and the Giratina is not going to be able to eat 2 new nukes. Boom! Bang! Well, thank you, ma'am. G-Zap. Put a pan. I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. Let's not ruin the shoutcast at the end. Either way, that's the rest of his battles. Ends up climbing all the way up to 2946. So I partially lied. Actually, I think his elo might have started a little bit lower than 2871. But regardless, he had a solid climb with Galarian Zapdos in Open Master League. I can't stress this enough. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the Pokemon, on the battles, on everything. Famo, thank you for the submission. And as always, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace!